Good. Hello, everyone. You're watching the Hub Online Network. My name is Gareth. This is the Ash Creek News. We have a very titillating show for you today, so thank you all very much for watching, and let's get to it. So, in Ashcroft, the Village of Ashcroft is holding a water conservation poster contest. So design a poster that includes a water-saving tip for a chance to become an Ashcroft water conservation superstar. And have your poster showcased around town, as well as a special prize yet to be disclosed. Now, this is interesting. The Ashcroft Indian Band's new Elders Center, a 6-unit seniors residence located near the band office, will benefit from clean, renewable energy now that has 18 kilowatt solar array that has been installed on the building's roof. The project was one of 7 clean energy projects in the First Nations, northern and rural communities that received funding through the Communities Energy Leadership Program, or CELP. The band received $18,000 towards the $55,000 project from CELP, and is estimated to cost it is estimated that the cost savings will be about $2,775 a year. That figure will likely increase as there is enough panels left over to construct a solar array on the roof of the band office as well. Both projects are now complete. Band administrator Jodine Blaine says that they're already seeing big savings from the project, and the band has also received funding from the New Relationship Trust. And Blaine says that they would like to take a look at getting more solar projects. So that's pretty sweet. We have Jessica with us today as well. So hello, Jessica.
Hello, Gareth.
How you doing?
I'm fantastic.
How was your long weekend?
It was very nice. We went up to 70 Mile to go to Sugar Shack for, it was Randall's birthday on the weekend, so we had poutine and beaver tail donuts, which were delicious, the maple butter inside. But the best part was the free donut that we got that was like a donut filled with maple whipped cream before we'd even eaten anything else. It was so good.
Awesome.
And then yeah, we just chilled the rest of the weekend.
Right. Oh, well, we went pseudo camping. So anybody that knows, I hurt my foot over the last couple of weeks whooping the hub. Oh,
whooping!
Actually, I got to say, we haven't told the viewers at home that we whooped the hub in our walking competition that we talked about a few weeks ago. We didn't just beat them. We didn't just destroy them. We whooped them. But
at last count, before they gave up, we had walked 86 kilometers more than they had.
The whooping did not come without some kind of a price, though.
No, not for you.
I changed my shoes too many times, wearing different pairs of shoes, and I ended up having a large cluster of blisters form under my left foot. And I have been off of my feet now for 2 weeks, I believe.
2.5 weeks, yeah.
And I've been in and out of the doctor's office and stuff like that. So it's been an interesting go for me, but we still won. But winning comes at a price. So what do we get for winning?
We get a barbecue for us. So they have to provide us with a barbecue. So we get to have that next week. I'm looking forward to it.
Tanika keeps threatening vegan food.
I think they might spit in our food too. They're not really impressed that us lazy video game playing, movie watching geeks won over the fitness.
Wait, we didn't just win. We whooped.
And I have to say, I actually walked the most kilometers. I walked 125 kilometers myself.
Yeah. I think that I would have been up there with you if my foot hadn't crapped out on me.
Yeah.
And I shouldn't have said that. I apologize. The C word is not PC.
Your body was against you.
But it was lots of fun, and I believe that this month, although I haven't logged any hours yet.
I think we've given up. I think we might just do a 2-week one at the end.
Oh, well, I'm going to,
maybe,
so this month, instead of walking, it is a exercise in general. So the amount of time that you put in exercise, it doesn't involve happening during working hours.
No, if you get paid for it. Yeah.
Vicky and Tanika are both personal trainers. And so the personal training that they get paid to do does not count towards their time. So it's extra working out after hours.
Vicky's 5 classes that she teaches don't count. Too bad.
Too bad. But she's on vacation now, so she's not even going to be counting those hours. Anyway.
So what did you do on the weekend then?
What did I do on the weekend? Right. So
skipped your story.
we went pseudo camping. My parents got a campsite at Sunnyside Campground in Cultus Lake. But because of my foot, my wife and I didn't camp. We stayed in a hotel. So we would go there for like 9 in the morning. We would stay until 10 at night, before, when the gates open and the gates closed. And then we'd go back to the hotel and sleep and clean my foot and make sure everything was good with that. But, my goodness, if I didn't have to go camping, I don't think I would have. It was packed. That place was wall to wall. We figured that on the map that they had, there was 380 or 48 campsites.
Wow.
And about the same size area as the Sage and Sands Mobile Home Park.
Wow.
Like
it's jam-packed
It's
in
a
there.
big spot, but
Yeah.
it's jam-packed with campsites.
Wow.
And we figured that there was 4 people per site and there were no empty sites. So
Wow.
just taking that basic math into account, there's more people in that campground
Than in Ashcroft.
than there are in Ashcroft.
Yeah.
It was disgusting.
And you just sat watching the
Well,
lake.
luckily my parents had a campsite that was it was on the edge opposed to being right in the middle.
Oh, nice.
All the tents, all the people tenting were in the middle of this conglomerate of whatever, and it was just, so anyway, I was happy that we were where we were, because we weren't really inches from the next people, but other people were literally inches from the next people in the next campsite.
Were
So with
people
all this,
wearing masks?
no,
Yeah.
no, there was no masks, there was no, it's all communal bathrooms and stuff. From what I could tell, there was no regular cleaning of those bathrooms either. So it was very interesting to go there. If I wasn't going to see my family, I wouldn't have done it.
Right.
And especially after the first night, I probably wouldn't have gone back
Yeah.
if I wasn't going back to see my family.
Yeah.
So anyway.
The things we do for family, right?
What's amazing though, and I remember saying this a couple of times, what's amazing is I have I had all those concerns and I saw all these different things, and I was legit, not horrified, that's not the right word, but concerned about what was going on, and yet I still went back. So really I couldn't have cared that much, despite the fact that
Or you really missed your parents and wanted to see them.
maybe.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that was my weekend, but my foot is getting better for everybody at home, and thank you. Big shout out to all the people at the Ashcroft Medical Practice, Family Medical Practice, the ER, and the wound care specialists that are there. You guys have been doing an awesome job fixing me up. So I appreciate all that you guys are doing for me and everybody else that comes in there. So the Ashcroft Terminal had a working group, has had several working group meetings, and has now handed out a working group update. You can actually find this on, this was sent to me, but you can find this on the Cache Creek Info Facebook page. I'm just going to read a little bit about what's going on in their meetings. So it says here, in late April, we shared information on our website and in an open letter to Ashcroft and Cache Creek residents explaining that Ashcroft Terminal is in the midst of a $28.2 million infrastructure expansion with funding support from Transport Canada, and a large area of our site is now in active construction. As an important safety measure, we installed a gate on Evans Road and at the entrance of our industrial property, and informed the community that we would be enforcing restrictions on trespassing to get to the slough through Ashcroft Terminal private property. So that is the problem that is happening. And I shouldn't say problem, because that, again, isn't the right word. That is the thing that people became upset about, because it ruins their access to the slough. So what they've done is we invited residents to Ashcroft and Cache Creek to apply to become members of a community working group, an advisory group that would make recommendations about recreational enhancements at Ashcroft Terminal could contribute to as an alternate to continued access to the slough. The working group consists of 3 community representatives, 3 Ashcroft Terminal employees, 1 representative from Bonaparte Indian Band, 2 municipal appointees, 1 from each of the villages of Ashcroft and the village of Cache Creek. The working group is co-chaired by, that's okay. The date, the community working group has met 3 times. At the first meeting, they reviewed the terms of reference, learned more about Ashcroft Terminal construction plans and rail safety regulations. At the second meeting, the members identified various user groups and uses of the slough and brainstormed alternative areas for riverfront access and recreation that do not involve trespassing through private property. Ideas for consideration include the following. So an enhanced walking trails, a dog park, splash park for kids, finding alternative access to the slough, better use of existing recreational facilities, enhanced river access at a location other than the slough, and for fishing. So those are some. Would you use the slough for any of those options?
I have been down there a couple of times in the 12 years that I've been here. It's not somewhere that I frequent, but I do know that a lot of people really enjoy it. And I think that if there was a viable access to it, I probably would go more. But I don't like breaking the law about crossing the railroad tracks and stuff. So.
But for an example, if we couldn't go to the slough, would you take enhanced walking trails as an alternative, or a dog park?
I think that having a dog park in Ashcroft would be a great idea. We have 2 dogs, and it would be great to have a place that's specifically for them to run around. And I think walking trails is a fantastic idea too. I mean, I know Jim Duncan is working on the walking trail along the river, and it's lovely. I prefer walking on the cement, so I don't use a trail, but I do use it when there's a truck coming by so that I don't get run over. But I think all of those are great options that all might be possibilities. So a water park would be lots of fun for the kids.
Well, that being said, the community working group members ranked each of the ideas from their most to least preferred option, and from this ranking, 3 ideas clearly emerged for further exploration. So number 1 was enhanced walking trails. Number 2 is an alternative access to the slough other than through Ashcroft Terminal private property, and 3 was enhanced river access at a location other than the slough. So it's clear out of the working group that people really want to be able to get down to the slough, as though those are 2 of the 3 options, and probably an enhanced walking trail could be included in those options as well.
Yeah, there's not a lot of places within Ashcroft to get to the river, so being able to get to the river would be nice for sure. I mean, other than the boat launch, there's not. And then there's the slough, and there's the spot across where the Bonaparte comes in too. But again, you're going over a train track there too.
The working group is now analyzing these options and evaluating each one against a detailed set of criteria, including community interest and potential number of users, approval process, land ownership, environmental regulations, etc., technical information such as constructability, engineering, and feasibility, the cost, liability, so who would have responsibility if someone had got hurt, and then it just says other, which I guess encompasses a whole bunch of other stuff.
Yeah.
At September's meeting, the community working group will review each of these 3 options as stated above, evaluate against the criteria above, and may be a position to submit recommendations to Ashcroft Terminal. If further discussion and information is required, a final meeting will be scheduled for October. And if you are on the working group or is a concerned citizen about this, you can let us know. You can even come on the show if you'd like. You can email us at hon@ashcrofthub.com or comment on this video, and we will gladly have you on the show, and you can have your say.
We do have a comment specifically about what we just talked about.
Okay.
Deb Tui says, safety is most important, in my opinion. And
Okay.
that is true, absolutely.
Thank you, Deb Tui. And don't forget, Deb, you're supposed to be coming in for your interview.
With cinnamon buns.
With cinnamon buns. Now, so that's what I have for Ashcroft today. For Cache Creek, the 2020 flooding has officially been declared a disaster by Emergency Management BC. This means that if you suffered any damage to your home, you may be eligible for funding from the province. So if you go to Cache Creek Info on Facebook, there is a link that you can go to for more information and application forms. Residents can apply directly to the province. So if you have had your house wrecked by the flooding, we are now deemed a disaster, so there is funds available for you. That doesn't affect you, so I'm not going to ask you anything about that. From the interior. So one thing that we've been working on vigorously here at the Hub Online Network is Desert Days. So Desert Days would typically have a concert in Spence's Bridge, but because of COVID-19, all concerts have been suspended. So we, in our infinite wisdom, decided to have a virtual Desert Days this year. So this Friday and Saturday, Desert Days is going up on the Hub Online Network, I believe starting at 6. But we have an interview with 2 of the members that helped create Desert Days, not create Desert Days, but are on the board of Desert Days.
The current program coordinator and the past coordinator.
So we have a little video for you guys to watch. So Leith, play that video and don't forget to mute our microphones.
Well, I'm Jan Schmitz, and I'm the new director of the Desert Days Music Festival.
My name is Mavorni Navarko Ryan, and I am past director of the festival, but still on the coordinating team.
Well, the challenges themselves, we're making this up basically as we go along. Of course, we, like tens of thousands of other festivals and cultural events all over Canada and the world, have had to cancel their live presentations due to the COVID pandemic. But doing some thinking outside the box, we decided to try to present Desert Days anyways through the medium of social media and video. So sounded like a good idea at the start, but we had no real idea how to proceed from that. So the Desert Days Committee, of which I'm a part of, Mavorni is a part of, Steve Rice, Alana Fortin, Paul Cuthbert, Arnie Oram, we got our heads together, and Alana Fortin, thank you. We got our heads together and decided to try video presentation that would promote local artists and musicians, as well as promote the village of Spence's Bridge itself, which has been the home base of the festival for the past 10 years, since 2010. So that was the initial challenge. How do we proceed? But we decided to show 10 different musical acts at 10 different iconic or historic or interesting locations.
I'm going to add to that, and that I think that some of the challenges that we're going to face is promoting it and really hoping that we have a lot of people watching the actual event when it goes live online. And the Facebook page, I think we have well over 1,000 people who've liked it. So if even a quarter of them have a look, we'll be very happy. That is a very difficult thing to promote, instead of getting people here, to get them to actually tune in and watch that many acts consecutively. But it will be available for people to go back to and watch anytime, or fast forward through acts maybe that they're not as interested in, or that sort of thing.
Yeah, well, as I said, 5 of them had performed in Desert Days several times before, such as Dwayne Rourke, Flat Busted, Jenny and the Gents, Nadine Davenport, and Bill Anani. They have been with us before and are very popular. But I had seen several other musicians perform around Ashcroft, Cache Creek, Spence's Bridge, who the rest of our committee may not necessarily have seen. I also have spent some time promoting live music for the Winding Rivers Arts and Performance Society, so I had some contacts with these people. So largely on my own promotion and my own telling the committee that these guys are good, we hired these people. So my butt was on the line, but I don't think anybody's disappointed. So we have the other 5 bands that we have brought in are Joshua Bergen, the Malaman Collective, who else? That's 2.
The Bluegrass Band.
Ron Ingram and Cowboy Swing, I think they're called. And Better with Juice. Yeah, Better with Juice was a wonderful band. One other one. Dire Heart. Thank you very much. So these are 5 musicians and bands that had not performed at Desert Days before, that are from around here, that we encouraged to come, and they presented themselves extremely well, and hopefully we might get them for future Desert Days performances going forward.
In 2010, Steve Rice had the idea, why not bring a festival to Spence's Bridge, where we could celebrate the beautiful scenery, the town, the wildlife, the agriculture, as well as celebrate local musicians. And that concept hasn't changed. That passion for wanting to celebrate good local music, Canadian music, and giving those musicians an opportunity to perform and have a venue for them, like that is still really important. And celebrating Spence's Bridge with all of its bounty and beauty is still a major part of wanting to do that, putting Spence's Bridge on the map in a way. However, it's the people that attend Desert Days coming from the surrounding area, Ashcroft, Cache Creek, Lytton, Merritts, like it's a gathering of people to help celebrate music and agriculture.
We get granting from different federal, provincial, and regional institutions that offer these grants, such as the building communities through Arts and Heritage from the federal government, the BC Arts Council in British Columbia. We also have some funding from, say, the TNRD, and we also get funding from local businesses quite a bit. Second time around in Ashcroft has always been the strong supporter of us, as well as other smaller businesses in our region that support us. So we're a small festival. We're certainly not Woodstock size.
I'll really miss the sense of community and people being, brought together, and just everybody's in a good mood, and so they're there to hear the music and sit in the beer garden and sip a cold one while they listen to some good tunes, and just the gathering sense of community from all of our outlying communities of people that come, that will be missed.
Yeah, I agree. And also, there is no substitute for being at a live music venue. There is no substitute for it. Video is nice. It's not a substitute. So, as a musician myself, I appreciate having a place to play and perform. And people love live music. And to be able to offer that to our communities in the TNRD region is an honor and a blessing and a challenge. But I guess if I miss anything, it's that sense of live music and the community that comes out and supports and becomes a part of that. We see we've made many friends over the years of people who put Desert Days Festival on their calendar of things to do that summer, and they come from all over the place. I have friends who come from North Vancouver every year. They look forward to it. They camp out at Gopan, and they make a whole wild weekend of it. And that's what it's for. I also think I'll miss the beer garden. Most.
I think that having 10 festivals under our belt, this would have been our 11th, and it's unfortunate that we can't have a live festival due to the pandemic. But as a committee, we really felt like we didn't want to just let this year slide by, and we want to make sure that Desert Days is still alive in people's minds for next year. And I just wanted to put out there that we made the conscious decision to say, let's do something anyway. We can't just let this go. And I'm glad we did. I'm really looking forward to seeing the footage when it's all put together. It's going to be great.
Yeah, we're sort of actually a bit ahead of the curve. There are many festivals in BC that have canceled, probably all of them. But many of them, such as Arts Wells and the Salmon Arm Roots and Blues, who are presenting a style of virtual festival. I know the Roots and Blues are showing some live music that they filmed from this year, plus some stuff from last year. Well, if people want to find out more information about what we're doing, and find out when the festival's video is actually going to be shown, and perhaps if they want to make a donation to help us out, because we're not charging ticket prices here, we're not making any money doing this. They can go to our Facebook page. Just type in Desert Days. But there's another Desert Days festival that takes place in Southern California. Same spelling, same thing. So if you find yourself at a Desert Days site in California, just say hi and then come back to us. But you can also come back to our Desert Days website, which is www.desertdays.ca, all one word. And we'll be posting more information about the bands that are playing and when the videos will be presented. And if you have questions or do you want to make a donation to us, we won't say no. You can contact us through there. I'm sure you guys will be putting some of this information on the video, but we also have a email, info@desertdays.ca.
I just one more thing to point out that generally, for instance, last year we managed to get $15,000 in grants and sponsorships. Half of that from government grants and half from local businesses giving, sponsoring. And but our budget was about $25,000, and so in ticket sales, beer garden sales, T-shirt sales, it's how we make up the rest. So this year we received some government grants, and because we don't have all of those other overheads and costs that I was mentioning before, we will still just simply be breaking even from the government grants from having paid the bands and other expenses. And we are a non-profit society, so all we ever want to do is break even.
All right, so yeah, Desert Days is happening again this Friday and Saturday night at 6. I'm looking at the wrong. We moved cameras during that video. I'm like, where did it go? It's over here. Yeah, so Desert Days is happening this Friday and Saturday at 6 to 9:30. I believe the first show is 3.5 hours, just shy of 3.5 hours long. So it's pretty awesome. So check it out on the Hub Online Network on our YouTube channel. There will be a link onto Facebook, but it's going up on our YouTube channel. So check that out this Friday and Saturday at 6. Now, news from the province. Let's give our COVID-19 update. So we have 146 new cases since we reported on Friday for a total of 3,787 cases in BC. We don't have today's new numbers, but 146 over the weekend is actually not as bad as it sounds. I believe it was 20-something on one day, 40-something the next, 20, and then 40 again. So, but we'll see what happens with this long weekend. Again, having gone to Cultus Lake and seeing what I saw, I'm not necessarily hopeful that the numbers are going to go down in any significant way, but I guess time will tell. And of course, we all need to pay attention to what's going on, and if you're feeling ill, please contact 811 should you develop any of the COVID-19 symptoms. Now, I have been using the COVID-19 app, and so far I have not seen any cases of COVID-19 around me. This could mean one of two things. A, it doesn't work in BC yet, or we are clear here in Ashcroft and Cache Creek. I even had it on at that campsite, and there was seemingly nothing there. Now, people have to buy into it. If you get COVID, you get a code, and you have to put the code into the app, and then it shows that you have it. One of the things that's going on, though, is, let me bring up this story here because it's pretty awesome. So COVID alert app could result in some people being identified. So in the app itself, it tells you that your privacy is number one, and you will remain anonymous if you use this app, which was one of the bigger contentious points for what's been going on with this thing. So the federal government's new COVID alert doesn't offer 100% privacy and could allow some who test positive for the coronavirus to be identified, particularly those who live in small communities or who don't interact with many people. The government employees who develop it say in a blog that they wanted to describe the app's handling of information as anonymous, but Privacy Commissioner Daniel Theron's office disagreed. So my thought on that is, if you're in so let's just say that you're in Safety Mart, you're standing in there, a new person walks into the building, boom, your app goes off saying that there's someone around you that has COVID. That person could possibly be easily identified because there's only so many people in the grocery store in a small town. So I could see that being the way. I think that if you're in there's 1,000 people around you, it doesn't say, Jessica has COVID. It would just say someone around you has COVID.
So, but if I'm at the grocery store and get an alert, that person shouldn't be at the grocery store if they've tested
Yep.
positive for COVID. So
Right.
if my neighbor tests positive or someone around my block tests positive, then I should get an alert at home saying that someone within my vicinity. That makes more sense. I should not get an alert at the grocery store.
I'm just saying, to me, that seems like a more
Oh, absolutely.
interesting.
And that's what I said the last time we talked about it too, was that it's going to be easier in a small town to potentially find out who that positive person is versus in a bigger city because of the fact that there's less people around.
I think that this really assumes that people are a lot smarter than they actually probably are, in the capability of guessing of
Based
"Ooh,
on
it's-
information.
It's Jim. Jim's
They're going to go closer like Pokemon Go and figure out
right.
yeah.
So that was an interesting story that has sort of crept up. Now, one thing that's been going on in tandem and for much longer than COVID has been the opium pandemic that has been going on
Opioid?
the opioid, yes, not opium. Thank you. So the British Columbian government and city of Vancouver are trying new ways. Oh, I'm skipping ahead. We're going to talk about homeless here. So the British Columbian government of the city of Vancouver are trying a new way to help get homeless people off the streets with the country's first ever navigation center. The Vancouver Center would have 60 beds, support and services to help people with addictions and other health issues to find more permanent housing. The provincial government allocated $1.5 million in funding a year. 1.5 million in funding a year for the next 3 years to create 2 centers, with the second center expected to be announced for Vancouver Island. Housing Minister Selena Robinson says that they continue to build more supportive homes for people who are homeless, but there's also a need to support those who have complex challenges while being homeless. Residents referred to the Navigation Center will be able to stay until longer-term housing is available. A location for the Vancouver Center hasn't been identified, but the provincial government and the city are aiming for it to be operational by the spring of next year. Now that's awesome for Vancouver, but hopefully they're going to be able to extrapolate that at least to Kelowna. Having made several, working in the film industry, there is a very high population of homeless that could probably help from something like this. And so that would be awesome to bring it into the interior. Even a little bit closer to home, I'm not saying that Cache Creek or Ashcroft has many homeless people, but to be able to help them would be awesome. So let's have something come a little bit closer to the interior as well, and not just in Vancouver and on the island. In a tweet from John Horgan, the Premier of BC acknowledges the consequences have been devastating for people who are dealing with substances during the dual public health emergency. So now we're talking about the opioid pandemic. This is why we're working to connect more people to life-saving prevention and treatment services. Together we can work to stem the terrible tide. This tweet was connected to a news article that stated that British Columbia government says it's accelerating its response to the overdose crisis by expanding life-saving overdose prevention, treatment, and support services. In a statement on Tuesday, Minister of Mental Health and Addictions, Judy Darcy, says the illicit drug supply is more toxic than ever before due to the COVID-19 pandemic. She says funds for the accelerated response are part of the $10.5 million set aside to address the crisis province-wide. The statement goes on to say that the teams will connect people with substance use challenges, including those who use drugs alone to services they need. The BC Coroner's Service said last month that a record 175 people died in June alone of illicit drug overdoses, surpassing the previous record of 171 deaths in just 1 month.
Wow.
And that doesn't just stop, again, with people in Vancouver. There are people in Cache Creek, Ashcroft, Kamloops, Kelowna, Lillooet, Clinton, everywhere that use these illicit drugs. And because of what's going on with COVID-19, despite the fact that it's illegal for it to happen, it's harder and harder to get clean drugs because nothing's coming over the border anymore. And it's even harder for the government to find, there's been several stories of it being difficult for the government to find their supply for the safe injection sites. And because we're being asked to socially distance, as is stated, many people are now using these drugs by themselves. But there is also another app for that that you can get. As I mentioned in a previous show, probably a month ago or a month and a half ago, you can get this app. So if you are using these drugs alone, you can set a timer, and if the timer goes off and you haven't stopped the timer, it alerts the paramedics, and they will come to you to rescue you, assuming that you have now overdosed. But on a happier note, Jessica has some things to talk about.
I do have a few coming events. Not a whole heck of a lot going on, thanks COVID-19. So I'll start with the Hub. We are continuing our fundraiser with Sipology by Steep Tea through August. So get your tea orders in. There's lots of great options available, and help us reach our fundraising goal for the year to help keep and maintain programs and services here at the Hub. And then the other thing that the Hub has got, I didn't put these in the right order, is we are planning another drive-in movie for the end of August. So stay tuned for more details. Follow the Hub on Facebook or check out their website at ashcrofthub.ca. And speaking of their website, did you know that there's a community calendar on the Hub's website?
I did.
You did, of course.
Not.
You did not. Of course you didn't. There was nothing on it for quite a while because I took everything off of it. But there's actually there's a tab that says community calendar when you get to the Hub's website. And it lists not just things that are happening here at the Hub, but it's also things that are happening around the area. And if you would like your event added to that community calendar, you can email me at manager@hubonlinenetwork.com, and I will add that event to the calendar. One of the events that is not on there yet, because I just saw it today, is Unity's next concert. Did you like that segue? That was good, hey? The John Treacle Trio is coming at the end of August, Friday, August 28th. It's a 7:30 show. Funky, bluesy, and jazzy. They cover quite a bit of territory. From Ray Charles to Miles Davis to Carl Perkins. So join the Unity for that concert. Tickets are $20 for general seating, and you can get them on her new website or just call her to order your ticket.
If you'd like to know what the John Treacle Band or Trio sounds like, we actually have an interview with them from several months ago. I filmed the concert, but I believe that Dana, when she was here, did the actual interview with them.
So go to our YouTube page and find that concert stuff. And then back to Han. We're still doing our What You Got Growing On segment. So if you have plants in your garden that you want to showcase, or fruits or vegetables or anything outside or even inside, we want to see what you got growing on. So send us your picture or videos at there we go, at han@ashcrofthub.com, and we will compile them hopefully for Friday's show. We'll get some together because we do have some submissions.
Yeah, and those submissions are awesome.
Yeah.
And we have been trying to actually put them up previously. It's just for some reason didn't work. So we're going to try a different way of putting them together and putting them up onto the show for Friday.
Yeah, hopefully we can get them done for Friday. And that's all I have event-wise. There's not a lot going on. So, yeah.
I received a threat.
A threat?
From the Cardboard Tonians.
Yes. Did you get a direct threat?
A direct threat. They said they're going to be here on Friday.
Oh, no.
I'm not quite sure. It was written in crayon and pictures mostly. But for all of those that have been following along, these are the guys or aliens or whatever they are, recyclable people that have been threatening Ashcroft and Cache Creek, and they have now deemed the Hub Online Network a place that they are going to attack. So Friday, stay tuned. I'm not sure what they're going to do yet, but I'm going to be as prepared as I can.
As prepared as you can. I now realized I had 2 more things to talk about. So the hub, thanks to Northern Interior Communities Association, is hosting a BC Community Gaming Grant Workshop. So if you are an organization that has applied for or is thinking about applying for gaming grant money, you can come and discuss your grant and kind of get some information. And that's next Wednesday, August 12th from 6 to 8:30 here at the Hub. And COVID-19 protocols are in place. So call the Hub at 250-453-9177 or email them at Ashcroft. Oh, there's a typo on the poster. Email them at ashcrofthub@gmail.com to reserve your spot for that. And we've had the Gaming Grant Workshop previously a couple of times, and I think it's really beneficial for people who are applying for gaming money, because that's definitely a good pot of money to get into. And one other thing, tomorrow again, because it's Thursday tomorrow, right? Today's Wednesday. Again, I'm assuming this is Communities in Bloom. It doesn't say on the poster, but every Thursday there's a group of people that meet at the bakery at 8:30 to do some deadheading of the flower barrels downtown Ashcroft to keep them looking their best. Bags are provided, and there's also coffee and goodies to follow. Thank you to the Ashcroft Bakery and Coffee Shop for those. So if you're looking for something to do, and it's not going to be super crazy hot tomorrow, you can go to the bakery at 8:30 tomorrow and make Ashcroft look even more beautiful than it already is.
Awesome. If you are I almost did it again. If you're watching right now, live, say hi. I want to say hi back.
I know.
So take a minute right now. We got another 5-10 minutes of stuff to go through here, and just say hi really quick, and we'll say hi to you live on the show. So, in the country, Canada Health is recalling more than 50 hand sanitizers that contain ingredients that are not acceptable for use that may pose health risks. The organization says that sanitizers with unacceptable types of ethanol or denaturants have been approved for use in sanitizers in Canada, and their safety and efficiency have not been established. It's that word again. Denaturants are ingredients added to ethanol to make it unfit for human consumption. Health Canada says possible reactions to the ingredients include skin irritation, eye irritation, upper respiratory system irritation, and headaches. Health Canada has an evolving list on its website of 51 hand sanitizers that are currently being recalled, and says Canadians should consult the list regularly. The organization says to stop using products listed and to consult a healthcare professional if you have used these products and have health concerns. Health Canada says use of alcohol-based hand sanitizer should be used if soap and water is not available for proper hand washing. Yes, Jessica.
Hi, Barbara.
Hi, Barbara. Thank you for watching very, very much. Have you heard about the mystery seeds?
No.
Okay.
Is this different than sunflower seeds?
This is different than sunflower. This is not a good thing.
Oh, I did actually. I did. I remember now.
So I don't have the story here in front of me, so I'm just going to go off of memory here. But people are getting seeds in the mail that have like proper packaging from like Stokes and other seed vending groups, but they're not actually usable. They wreck your garden. And wreck all your stuff.
Like they're not seeds. They're like
no. Sorry. That's not what it is. Let me retract this. What it is plants that are invasive. They're invasive plants. So you plant them and then they just go everywhere.
I have a few of those in my garden already.
But these are being mailed to people with like pumpkins.
Oh my goodness.
And then you plant them. Although why you would plant something that you didn't order, I'm not sure. But you would plant them, I guess in theory, and then it would take over your garden with these invasive plants. And they're plants that aren't native to Canada. There's like Chinese plants, Japanese plants, Australian plants. So
that's horrible.
If you're getting seeds in the mail, please be careful.
Don't use them. You shouldn't be planting anything now anyway. Except for kale for a fall harvest.
In the world, Now, this was an interesting one. So, in Beirut, angry Lebanese are demanding accountability for the mishandling of explosive material that detonated, killing more than 100 people, and some 300,000 people are displaced from their homes. Now, did you see the video of this?
I saw like a snippet of it. I don't like to watch the news because it's depressing. So just occasionally on Facebook.
You just like to be involved in the
I
news?
just like to be involved. Yeah.
Well, this thing, it didn't look like an atom bomb or anything. It just was this big white cloud. Like all you see is kind of like it looks like a little vacuum that goes in, sucks in,
Yeah.
and then just this big white cloud. It looks like cotton candy.
Oh my gosh.
Just explodes up and out, and it just goes across it just goes across Beirut. It's huge. So at least 100. So as of 3 hours ago, 135 people have died. 5,000 people have been wounded in the blast, and some are still missing, Lebanon's health minister says. Rescue workers are still struggling to treat thousands of people wounded in an enormous explosion, and it is huge. I mean, I'm not trying to make light of this, but go check it out. If you haven't seen this thing, go on YouTube, type in Beirut explosion. It is definitely something to see.
What exploded?
We're not sure yet. There was a
Okay.
fire of some kind on a thing,
On a thing.
but let me read the rest of this.
Okay.
People wounded in an enormous explosion that rocked Beirut turned their attention on Wednesday morning to their desperate search for survivors. The blast, so powerful it could be felt more than 150 miles away in Cyprus, leveled whole sections of the city near the port of Beirut on Tuesday evening, leaving nothing but twisted metal and debris for blocks in Beirut's downtown business district. It capsized a docked passenger ship, shattered windows miles away, and registered on seismographs shaking on the earth as strongly as a 3.3 magnitude earthquake. The waterfront neighborhood, normally full of restaurants and nightclubs, was essentially flattened. A number of crowded residential neighborhoods in the city's eastern and predominantly Christian half were also ravaged. Nearly all of the windows along the popular commercial strip had been blown out, and the street was littered with glass, rubble, and cars that had slammed into each other after the blast. The buildings that remained standing looked as if they had been skinned, leaving hulking skeletons.
So Barbara says that it was ammonium nitrate, which is something used in fertilizer, and it had been stored in a warehouse for 7 years.
Wow. Thank you, Barbara, for that. Of course, Barbara is the local Ashcroft Cache Creek Journal editor, and we did even steal a story of hers earlier in the show. So thank you, Barbara, for everything you're doing to help the Hub Online Network in all of our endeavors. And again, thank you for watching.
She posted the link to the story about the recovery.
Awesome. And I'm sure that if you're wanting to help the people of Beirut, you can donate something.
Somewhere.
But anyway, it was, I said last night to Amy, that is one thing, I watch a lot of movies with lots of explosions, and I've never seen an explosion like that. It's very interesting to have seen that. So anyway, check that out. Brad Viss, our local member of parliament, says on Facebook that political censorship of opposition candidates in Belarus is unacceptable. Canada's Conservatives have and will continue to advocate for a foreign policy which is rooted in freedom, democracy, human rights, and the rule of law. These are principles for which Canada is known around the world and which we will continue to promote with our international partners. This tweet is in regards to the headline, Belarus has a ban on election challenges, which stirs protests. So they had an election. People tried to say that the election results were rigged or bogus or whatever, and Belarus shut those down, saying you're not even allowed to challenge. Jackie Taggart says that the BC Liberal Steelhead Caucus has been calling on the province for years to protect the valuable species. The NDP needs to take immediate action or this iconic species will be lost forever. The BC Liberals Steelhead Caucus is calling on the NDP's government to do more to protect the province's wild steelhead populations. citing the federal government's financial support. So now this is a little bit of the story from the article. Citing the federal government's financial support of wild BC salmon conservation project, Steelhead Caucus co-chair Jackie Taggart issued a statement demanding similar action from the province over the iconic trout species, which then just has the same sort of blurb that was in her tweet. So thank you very much for standing up for steelhead in our area, Jackie. Stay strong. And that's pretty much all I got for you guys today. Is there anything else you have, Jessica?
I have nothing else.
So to everyone watching, thank you very much. And to Robert Royce, if you're watching, wherever you are, we hope you're doing well. Have a good day.